Hello, everyone. I hope you've been enjoying our podcast so far. In the hot seat, we have a very special guest coming. Stay tuned. John DiMichele, CEO of the Toronto Regional Real Estate Board and PropTx. We're going to get into associations, disruptions, AI, and all of the good things. Stay tuned. Let's get into it in the hot seat. John, thank you so much for joining us in the hot seat. This podcast, like many of our member boards doing podcasts we've seen, is a real cool way to connect realtors with member boards or member boards with our grassroots realtors. For me, it's really exciting to have you here in this position. One, because Toronto is obviously my hometown. My career started with a brokerage here that was associated with TREB. So I couldn't think of any better way to start than with you. And we're really excited to have you here. So thanks for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me. This is going to be fun for me too.
It's going to be great.
I hope.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, I'm sure.
We're going to dive right in.
Yeah, go ahead.
So listen, you have been at the helm of TREB for 20 years plus. And to me, it'd be really great for our realtors to sort of hear that background. So what made you, one, what drew you to the industry? And two, what made you transition from realtor into the leadership role over at TREB?
So I was a serial entrepreneur. At the time, I had three businesses that were operating, and they were very different. I just would have ideas, and I'd jump in and start trying to make a difference. And I have a small, young family, and I wanted to figure out a way to continue to do things. And one of them was I would buy homes, renovate them, and then live it for a while, and then sell them. And as at the time I had babies, I also had a restaurant, which was crazy to do all these things, and a marketing company. And I thought one day I was sitting there thinking I was going to sell the house, and I thought, maybe I should be a realtor. So then that was my second and third enterprise, because I'd sold the restaurant and had to move forward. And really, it was one of those moments in time where I thought, this is ideal. I'm an entrepreneur. You're an entrepreneur. I had a lot of success prior to that when I was working for other organizations in marketing and promotions. So that's what my love was, really. And I still do that now if I can.
It's a common theme with realtors to have more than one venture going on at the same time. It's really cool. So what experience and perspective as a realtor helped shape how you lead TREB today?
Well, everything, actually. And that's the greatest compliment I get from people when they say, you think like a realtor. And I thought, wow, it wasn't planned, but It's true. And that's the most important thing, is that if you know who your constituents are and who your customer is, if you will, then it's easier. If that's who you are as well, it's way easier.
Yeah, absolutely. What are some of the biggest shifts you have seen in the industry over the last 20 years? I know what I've seen in 20 years. I can imagine from your leadership perspective, it must be much more.
Well, the biggest thing I saw was the change in technology. And quite frankly, a lot of it I drove, from strong authentication.
Yeah.
Right? Those types of things, and really drilling down, changing the way the systems worked. It was, again, because of my realtor experience, I would say, well, no, we should present it this way, or redevelop what we're doing, and really make sure that whatever we do is tailored to the person who's using it, rather than just putting it together and letting it go.
Well, and there's half the battle right there, because I know there are a lot of CEOs and executive officers in the province who have fabulous ideas moving forward, but having that realtor side of it, that insight is what makes it change. Like, it's a game changer.
Yeah, and I think that, if you can embrace technology, I remember when they first said we're going to put the listings on the internet, and I knew the guy who was doing it, actually, who created what we now know as Realtor.ca, and then he handed it over to Korea. Everybody went, "Oh my God,
Bonkers.
we're going to lose everything."
Yeah.
And look at where it is.
I know.
And it is transformative, right?
It's huge.
AI is going to do the same thing.
It's huge. That leads into the next one. So we know it's not easy leading a membership of your size. So how does your team get the buy-in when you're trying to do something progressive or forward-thinking? How does your team work to get that buy-in from membership?
Communications is everything, and it's hard to communicate to 70,000 people. It's really difficult to do that. And you have to be consistent. You have to have your messaging correct. You have to do it in more ways than one. But comms is everything, and explaining it. Like now, I'm embarking on a brokerage tour, if you will. I want to go to the brokers. I want to talk to them about several things that they need to know just to set up the future and embrace what we're dealing with today.
Well, and you talk about tech. I mean, it feels like a snap of a finger and tech has come to us overnight. If even I look back 2 or 3 years, AI in general was like non-existent in my world anyways. And now all of a sudden we've got 1,000 things at your fingertips that I can do in less than 2 minutes. And yet, it's a big deal.
It's been around for decades.
Or it feels like it's been around forever. I know.
And it has in different ways. Like several products right now that we're using already have AI baked into it. We just use it differently now because it's readily available to the street.
Yes. Well, and realtors in general tend to be a very head down. We're just there. We want to make sure we serve clients, our sellers, our buyers. So when these new things pop in, it's very different. It's kind of like, oh my gosh, what happened? We weren't really paying attention to it, and now it's in our lap.
Yeah, exactly. And there's that fear. Well, is it going to replace me? And I can guarantee you it's not. It's not.
That's a big one. That's always the big question.
Well, is it? Think about it. Can AI walk into a house and smell it? No. Can even AI might be able to look at a house on paper and say, this is what I think it's worth.
Right.
But the realtor who saw it 6 months ago when it actually sold knows the condition it was in at the time, and perhaps they had cats or what have you.
Yeah.
And that's what the realtor brings to the table, personal firsthand experience.
Yeah, the human interaction portion of it. Yeah. So AI is probably a disruptor, would be considered a disruptor in the industry. I think it's a good one because it can benefit on all levels. What is this industry overdue for as a disruption, do you think, moving forward? What do you anticipate the next disruption could be?
That's a great question. I don't know if I really want to say this out loud, but I have been pretty much accurate in much of what I've actually written or said in the past, and I can tell you the one area that we need to really start thinking about is the association model. The association model, in my mind, it's over 100 years old.
Right.
And we are still holding true to that 100-year-old model. I think we need to rethink how it works and make sure that it continues to become more effective and efficient. We've seen some things happen the last little while at several levels that is difficult to actually explain. People want to understand it. But we need to really review how we operate as associations.
Agreed. So leading into that, what are some of the unique challenges that not only provincially is our largest board, but nationally? What are some of the challenges of leading those types of things into the future look like for you?
I think it comes down again to getting to understand the state of the mind of those that we serve. Mm-hmm. And communications is important, but first you have to gather the information. We just went through this process right now of meeting with our members on a regular basis, and Daniel's been doing an amazing job managing that process, and he's a great communicator. And I think that's what we need. We need more one-on-one, if possible, communications with people, talking to the audience, talking to the membership, talking to brokers, talking to the people who really are experiencing, particularly in this market, what's happening out there. We can only guess. Yes, we have people who are out there too, but it's different. It's different when you hear it firsthand. So I encourage the brokers to call me, or I will reach out to them. As I said, I'm reaching out now.
Do you find that that's happening more and more as you do this? That they're actually reaching out?
Well, I think they've been doing it anyway over the years, but I think there's right now in this marketplace, in particular, with some of the stress that we're experiencing and the uncertainty that we have and the economic impacts that we're experiencing, I think we have to really work as an industry now to do some other things. We always have the opportunity. Did I say 70,000? How many are in Ontario? 90?
Yes.
I mean, we have some power that we're not exercising when it comes to politics.
Yes.
And I think we could do better ourselves.
Yep. Yeah, fair
enough.
enough.
We do very well. We move the dial. Don't get me wrong. I mean, HST, GST on that sort of stuff. We get the policies out there. We get them. We move the dial at all levels.
Yes.
But when it comes to certain times, we have to be tougher.
Well, and there's the collective question that I'll have for you is, we all know that Trev does a great job in representing their realtors and providing services and platforms for their realtors, but it also extends beyond the borders of the board. Can you talk about any of the initiatives, past or present, that have really benefited realtors province-wide?
I think PropTx is probably the most important thing. And, that wasn't something I just dreamed up one day.
No.
This took years for me to actually, and a long time, to even get the name right, because everything I put forward was already taken.
Right.
But now PropTx is something.
It's big.
And I think it's a very significant change. I think it'll provide some real stability as we go forward. But the separation of PropTx from the association world is imperative. And that's where I think we will go. I think we're going to go in a direction that will help our memberships collectively succeed.
Agreed. Let's go right into PropTx then. So for those who may not know, and there's probably a few of us still left in the province, can you explain what PropTx is?
It's really a technology service entity. And the idea is to specifically make that company, that group, that skill set focused specifically on not just MLS, but what's required in the technology space. So there are so many services out there. I get calls almost every day.
Yes.
People, I want to show you this. I want to show you this. But what is at the core? The core is the data itself. If we're not serving the realtor, then we're not serving their needs.
That's
right? So what we need to do is really take PropTx to a different place. It is a service provider tailored to the realtor first.
Wonderful. So tech definitely is a big part of your career. I think everybody knows that now. AI seems to be the super hot topic. We talked a little bit about it earlier. What's meant for efficiency, data management, even the enhancing customer experience type thing. We are, talked about AI can't replace the human. Can you give us any more insight on AI in general and maybe where you see it moving forward with our practices?
Yeah, that's a great question because we are in the process of really executing on some of it at this time. AI will become, it's a tool like anything else. It'll become an important tool. What we don't want, collectively, is people out there feeding listing information into the free public available LLMs like ChatGPT and Claude and all that stuff. That has to stop. We're going to lose control of the data. It's an inevitability. And then you've got consumers who are already testing that, and we hear stories about it all the time. I don't know if they're true.
Yes.
but we hear these people talking about it, but they're feeding this listing information in there and it stays. Yes. Eventually people are going to say, hey, we got all this listing information. What are we going to do with it? And if they're putting in solds too, that's another problem. So now you're starting to violate privacy. So I think what we need to do is really create those guardrails, solid guardrails, and use it ourselves. So what we're going to do is embrace the concept. And how are we going to do it? So we're in the process of talking, my staff are, in a way that we can control this issue and actually make it flourish.
Well, there's the concern too. So technology in general is at the hands of every consumer out there. It doesn't matter age either. I mean, I've got my 77-year-old dad on looking for things all the time. It blows my mind just as much as it blew my mind when my kids came home and said, Mom, www. And you're like, but you're only in kindergarten.
Yeah.
So do you find consumers are more educated with the tools and tech that are at their hands, or do you find that it's overwhelming to them with the amount of information that they are able to have at their fingertips?
I think you've got several different tiers of sophistication, if you will. So I think there are people that play with it. It's a toy. But I do believe that there are people out there that see the value and they use it. It's part of their entire world now, because if they're working, then AI's become part of it. One of the fears that people have is that they go in there and they say, write this for me with facts.
Yes.
And it cannot present facts. I believe it hallucinates, sure, whatever.
Yes.
But I also believe people are feeding bad data into AI. I guarantee it. They will put stuff in that is not true,
right,
or fiction.
Right.
And how can you distinguish the difference between this entire paper that was fiction versus something that's not?
There's a large part of the population that believes anything that comes out of chat or Grok or your go-to AI bot is 100% true. That's the scary part.
That's funny.
Funny is an understatement. I honestly think I'm concerned. And my kids are both of the age, they love those apps. It's really quick to Google stuff to use chat or GPT or something like that. And I'm concerned when they are very much like, no, this is true. Look at the screen. This is what it tells me.
Mm-hmm. And now, the schools are having to treat it differently too, because you don't know who wrote this anymore.
Yes. It's very different. Even my daughter, her last year of high school, when she would do reports or whatnot, it had to be, I seen their school career go from, your phone is your friend. You can use it in any way. Take pictures. I said to my kids, do you ever do handwritten, notes anymore? No, I don't do handwritten notes. We can just take pictures. And now it's like phones down because you're not allowed. They're worried that you're going to use GPT to find an answer for something. It's crazy the way it's floated. Yeah. It's really concerning, to be honest.
But apparently there's a way to tell if it's been written by a bot, even if it doesn't have the regular little pieces that we look for.
Yes, fair enough. Okay, let's move to talk about realtors and brokerages. So we know real estate obviously can be financially rewarding, but very emotionally brutal. Do member boards and brokerages do enough to acknowledge burnout within the industry, even with things like tech and AI at our hands?
I mean, we can only really hold events, right? We can't get drilled down into a brokerage's, community, if you will.
Right.
I think that's the brokerage's responsibility, and I know that a lot of them are doing that. And I think that that's a critical piece. Maybe not where we would all want it to be, or even the brokers would want it to be. They're independent contractors. You can only do so much.
Right.
But this marketplace has been difficult. It's been different. Let's call it that. If there's a down marketplace, it's a down marketplace. This one is just not sure where the sentiment is coming from. But think about things like this. We know that the first-time buyer cohort of immigrants has really not entered the marketplace. That's huge. Are they renting?
Right.
We'd have to get that data, but boy, when these people start buying again, that's a first-time buyer push.
Yes.
And, how many are here? 400,000? Let's say 10% buy.
That's substantial.
Still, it's a big number.
Yeah.
And I think that that's some of the things that we have to pay attention to. What's the data behind this? We're now seeing for the first time in history, rentals outstrip sales. And there's tens of thousands of these things occurring on a regular basis. And we're seeing that now because are they waiting for it to bottom? I don't know. I mean, we can try to get the sentiment, but what's the truth? The truth is they're probably living within their means.
Yeah.
But eventually everybody wants to buy.
Right.
Remember, the first step to wealth is buying a house.
Right.
Right? So, and that's where I think we're headed. At some point in time, we're going to see a change in the marketplace. The realtors are resilient, though. Remember, I was one, and I worked with them for a long time, and I managed them, too. I had, 2 offices. Really, really threw me in there. My background, marketing, promotion, promotions, and I actually was really lucky. I mean, I was successful in my first one in less than a year, and then they moved me to another place. So I say, okay, tough guy, let's see if you can do this again. And it was a real challenge, but we did the same thing. Within 10 months, we were making money first time. And it was really exciting times for me, but the realtors are incredibly resilient no matter what the marketplace is. Once it happens, they start making it happen.
Yes, we've learned to be resilient, I think, over some ups and downs throughout decades of dealing with this. So let's move to the future of real estate. What do you think are the biggest opportunities facing realtors and Ontario's housing market right now?
So the opportunities really it really lies within the element of the technology that we have and the continued exposure to the consumer and helping them become part of the process. I think that's the future. The consumer wants to, they're not going to ChatGPT because of curiosity. They think that they can actually do it. And in my opinion, I don't think they can.
Right.
But I think that combination of getting them more involved and closer to the prospect of selling their home or buying a home, I think that really changes the dynamic. And the realtor has embraced that already.
Yeah. But
what we need more now is the opportunity for consumer to be part of that process a little bit better, if they choose to be. Because remember, a lot of people say, hey, you're the pro. Get me out of here.
That's right. That's right. So where do you see real estate in 5 to 10 years?
It's going to be different. I think people are saying, will there be a contraction in number of realtors? I can't predict, but I can tell you that, right now in this marketplace, we're seeing some people do a heck of a lot better than the general group. So it's already starting to work itself out. But I'm not sure what the future looks like, except that I know that realtors will always be around in solo brokerages.
I love it. We'll end on that note. But before we go, I have a couple of fun, fast questions for you. You ready?
No.
It's okay. Don't be scared.
Okay.
Don't be scared. Do you prefer calling or texting?
Calling.
Very nice. If you text, what is your most used emoji?
Smile.
If you had one real estate buzzword you could ban forever, what would it be?
Disrupt.
Oh. And if you weren't in real estate, what career would you have?
Actor. No, I'm kidding.
Nice.
No. I'd probably be in marketing or promotion in tech. Yeah.
Very nice. And the last one, Toronto, what's more competitive, Toronto real estate or trying to get Taylor Swift tickets?
Toronto real estate. No doubt.
Fair enough. Sorry, Taylor.
Yeah. Well, if you have enough money, it's not hard to get.
Yeah, fair enough.
Right.
Well, listen, thank you so much for joining us in the hot seat today. I know your time is very valuable. We really, really appreciate you being here and look forward maybe to another time or two having you in the hot seat.
I really appreciate being here. Thank you for inviting me. I really look forward to the next time. Thank you, Kim. Take care.